Hello, this is John Stevenson, and I'm going to be reading the New Bedford Standard Times for today, Thursday, September 29th. We're going to start off today with the weather. The paper says that today is going to be a day of clouds and sun, breezy, and cooler. The high is only going to be 74. And below tonight will be a bone-chilling 49 degrees. Friday will be mostly sunny and pleasant, high of 74, but low of 59. The weekend, Saturday, is going to be partly cloudy, partly sunny. Sunday, there's a chance of showers. Now let's get to the articles on the front page. The lead story has to do with overnight road closings that are coming. Test trains are continuing to roll up and down the South Coast Railroad. This is an article written by Dan Medeiros. The MBTA commuter rail prepares for a service to begin next year, but there are still a few places and pieces of the project that need to be finished. Construction of the pedestrian bridge across Route 18 in New Bedford, connecting to the city's new station, will require some road closures soon. Meanwhile, work on other stations is ongoing. Here's what you need to know. Construction crews will have to remove some support steel on New Bedford's pedestrian bridge. The work crews are planning on removing that support steel over Route 18 on Sunday, September 8th, and possibly Monday, September 9th. Work will continue to take place overnight from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It will require closing north and southbound lanes on Route 18 overnight. The work is at Purchase Street between Pearl and Willis near 618 Acushnet Avenue and on Route 18 at the Purchase Street exit. Parking restrictions in that area are still in place. Utility work is happening along Industrial Drive in Taunton near East Taunton Station all week from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. In June, MBTA General Manager Philip Eng said East Taunton Station was expected to be substantially completed in August. Construction and punch list work is ongoing in East Taunton and the Church Street Station, Wamsutta layover, and the New Bedford Station sites. The work is going to take place through Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Are the trains still running? Yes, they are. People may spot commuter trains traveling along the line for testing purposes. They may travel as fast as 79 miles per hour, and the MBTA has issued multiple reminders that trespassing on the right-of-way is illegal and dangerous. Trains running at full speed can take a mile or more to come to a full stop. When is the South Coast Rail expected to open? According to Eng, in June, customers should be able to ride the rail in May 2025. That timetable has not been updated. Construction work will continue and the timetable will be updated. Our next story contains information about the new Hyperzone play location that's opening soon in Dartmouth. Catherine Gallerani is the author, and the article is entitled Time for Fun and Games with the Debut of Hyperzone. The children calling out to each other and the squeals of joy as they run around and play through different obstacles can't help but make you smile. With octopus, crabs, shells, dolphins, and other sea life as a backdrop, Rebecca Flay brought her young sons Colby and Keith to the new Hyper Zone at the Dartmouth Mall for the first time Monday to try it out and find out what they can learn about it. They're loving it, she said. They absolutely love it. It's so much fun. The little one loves the ball pit. That's his favorite. And the other one is running around like crazy. Flay said that she learned that Hyperzone does special events as well. Her first thought that would be a great place to have a birthday party for her sons. Hyperzone is designed to accommodate young children up to age 8 with ball pits, games, and soft places to fall. Owner Sam Kuyumsea said parents are welcome to join their children on some of the play structures, as one father was doing with his child on Monday. Kids are getting used to the new play areas. One of the areas is more suited for children 5 and under. Since opening August 17th, he said business has picked up, especially on weekends, as more and more people learn about the Hyperzone. Kumsea said he often hears that parents have been looking for years for a playground like it. While Kumsea had an idea of how the playground would look for initial pictures, he said it looked even better than he had imagined once all the equipment was installed. He said he hopes parents and their children will find it interesting as well. Kumsea said they stress safety first at the Hyperzone. The play area is accessed through the push of a button to enter the gates, and a parent or guardian is required to stay with their children. There is also a big focus on keeping the play areas clean. All the while, the children just want to have fun. In the obituary section, we find the announcement of the death of Kelvin B. Jose, or it may be Josie. I'm not sure which pronunciation is in effect for this family. Kevin Bruce Jose, 38, of New Bedford, CEO and lead artist at DEMPT, Dempt Music, passed away suddenly on Wednesday, August 21st. He was a loving son of Gladys Jose and the late Woolston Joseph and other family members. Kevin graduated from the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth with a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting. He served for 8 years as the Chief Financial Officer for Maturing Gracefully in New Bedford. He was a talented writer of lyrical poetry. He loved rapping, music, fishing, motorcycles, archery, and drumming. He volunteered as a math tutor and a counselor for many years at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, assisting students and the community. He was a member of Sigma Phi Rho fraternity and a member of United Brothers and Sisters. He was well known as a leader in the community, helping and guiding many people to recovery. Visitation with family will be held on Friday, August 30th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Saunders Wire Home for Funerals, 495 Park Street in New Bedford. His funeral mass will be celebrated on Saturday, August 31st at 10 o'clock in the morning at St. Lawrence Martyr Catholic Church, 565 County Street in New Bedford. Interment to follow in Sacred Heart Cemetery. Following a burial service, a repast will be held at the Katali Mar Restaurant at 1178 Acushnet Avenue, New Bedford. Now back to other articles in the New Bedford Standard Times. This next story is called Indian Health Service Seeks Problems. Patients and employees say there's a lack of funds and complex rules that are affecting care. And this was an article written by Ariella Zointz and Catherine Houghton. When the chronically underfunded and understaffed Indian Health Service can't provide care, the federal agency can refer patients elsewhere through its Purchase Referred Care program, which pays outside providers for services. But resource shortages, complex rules, and administrative fumbles severely impede access, according to patients, elected officials, and people who work with the agency. Each year, the program rejects tens of thousands of requests to fund outside appointments, forcing people to go without treatment or face daunting bills. Referred care programs denied or deferred nearly $552 million in spending for about 120,000 requests from eligible patients in fiscal year 2022. This year, Congress set aside about $1 billion for the Referred Care Program. A committee of tribal health and government leaders says the Indian Health Service needs $10 billion to cover patients' referred care needs for the fiscal year of 2026. Native Americans qualify for the Referred Care Program if they live on tribal land. Only 13% do, or within their nation's delivery area, which usually includes surrounding counties. Those who live in another tribe's delivery area are eligible in limited cases. Native Americans who live beyond such borders are excluded. Many Native Americans say the U.S. government is violating its treaties with tribal nations, which often promise to provide for health and welfare of tribes in return for land. I keep having my elders here saying, quote, there are treaty rights to say they're supposed to be able to provide for these services, said Lyle Rutherford, a Blackfeet Nation Council member, who said he worked at the Indian Health Service for 11 years. Native Americans have high rates of disease compared to the general population, and a median age of death that's 14 years earlier than that of white people. Among the reasons researchers cite is a lack of health funding. This has been a long-standing problem. Federal watchdog agencies have reported concerns with referred care programs for decades. Brendan White, an Indian Health Service spokesperson, said improving the program is a top goal. He said the agency recently improved how referred care programs prioritize requests and is tackling staff shortages that can slow the process. Patients said they sometimes have trouble reaching referred care departments due to staffing programs. Patty Consia, a member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, needed emergency care after developing a serious infection in June of 2023. She said she has yet to receive a decision despite repeated phone calls and visits. The 50-year-old woman now faces more than $1,500 in medical bills, some of which have been sent to collection. The Indian Health Service recently expanded some delivery areas and is studying whether it can afford to create statewide eligibility in the Dakotas. Johnny Kroll of the Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians of Montana doesn't qualify for the referred care program because she lives nearly 400 miles from her tribe's headquarters. She said tying eligibility to tribal lands echoes old government policies meant to keep indigenous people in one place. Moving to qualify is unrealistic, said Kroll. What do we do? Sell our homes, leave our families and our jobs? People applying for funding face a system so complicated that the Indian Health Service created flowcharts outlining the process. Misty and Adam Hayden of Mandan, North Dakota, experienced that firsthand. Their nearest Indian Health Service hospital is no longer offering birthing services. Late last year, Misty asked the referred care program to pay for the delivery of their baby at an outside facility. Hayden, 40, is a member of the Sisseton Wahpeton Oyate, a South Dakota-based tribe, but lives within the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe's delivery area. Native Americans who live in another tribe's area, as she does, are eligible if they have close ties. Even though she is married to a Standing Rock tribal member, Hayden is considered ineligible by hospital staff. The family has had to cut into its grocery budget to help pay off more than $1,000 in medical debt. Adam Hayden said it was kind of a slap in the face. When patients are deemed eligible, their needs are ranked according to a medical priority list. Connie Bushbreaker, a member of the Rosewood Sioux Tribe, has been denied or waitlisted for funding at least 14 times since 2018. In a recent instance, her doctor at the local Indian Health Service said she needed to see an orthopedic surgeon. But hospital staff said the unit covers only patients at imminent risk of death. She said a worker at the referred care program told her she could handle her pain, which is so intense that she had to cut back on work and have her husband put her hair in a ponytail. Bushbreaker said, "I feel like I'm being tossed aside, like I don't matter," in an appeal letter that she wrote. The 55-year-old was eventually approved for funding. Tyler Tordson, a Republican state lawmaker and a member of the Sisseton Wahpeton Oyate in South Dakota, said the Refer Care program needs more funding, but officials could also do a better job of managing their finances. Some services have large amounts of leftover funding, but it's unclear how much of this money is unspent versus earmarked for approved cases going through billing. Meanwhile, more tribes are managing their healthcare facilities to improve services. Many also try to help patients receive outside care in other ways. That can include offering free transportation, arranging for specialists to visit reservations, or creating tribal health insurance programs. For Bushbreaker, begging for funding, quote, felt like I had to sell my soul to the Indian Health Service's gods, unquote. She said, "I'm tired of fighting the system." In more exciting news, the Standard Times reports that dinosaur footprints that match have been found oceans apart. It's an article from USA Today by Anthony Robledo. Across opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean, more than 3,700 miles apart, researchers have uncovered footprints left by dinosaurs who could have roamed from Africa to South America when the continents were joined in a supercontinent. More than 260 footprints located in Brazil and in Cameroon are believed to be part of the early Cretaceous period, according to a study published Monday by the New Mexico Museum of Natural History. The tracks were originally created about 620 miles apart over a thin sandstone layer of silt and mud on the former supercontinent known as Gondwana, which later separated and formed the South Atlantic Ocean. The study shared photos of the footprints with identical shapes that seemed to be refer to a similar age and geological context. Southern Methodist University paleontologist and head study author Louis L. Jacobs reported, quote, "One of the youngest and narrowest geological connections between Africa and South America was the elbow of northeastern Brazil, nestled against what is now the coast of Cameroon along the Gulf of Guinea," Jacobs said. The two continents were continuous along that narrow stretch, so that animals on either side of that connection could potentially move across it. Gowanda, Gondwana was a former supercontinent that broke off from the previous single continent called Pangaea about 180 million years ago. It included several continents, including South America, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. Around 140 million years ago, Africa and South America began to separate, causing rifts to emerge along pre-existing weaknesses, and the South Atlantic Ocean filled the space between the two newly formed continents. The study found that the majority of the fossil footprints were formed by theropod dinosaurs, which were characterized by their 3 toes and hollow bones. A few other fossils were likely created by sauropod or Orinthius-Chian dinosaurs. I apologize for my pronunciation. My paleontology skills aren't that great. Okay, moving on. Paleontologists calculated the height, the speed, and the range of the body mass for each footprint to reach its conclusion that the species were the same, according to the study. The location of the footprints found in Brazil's Borborema region and Cameroon's Coombe Basin allowed researchers to pinpoint where rifts form in Earth's crust as tectonic plates shifted. Along the footprints, alongside them, researchers also found half-graben basins. That's a geological structure that formed when the Earth's crust pulls apart. River and lake sediments were found within the basins containing fossil pollen that are presumably 120 million years old. The two continents were continuous along a narrow stretch, so that animals on either side of that connection could potentially move across it. Louis J. Jacobs, Southern Methodist University paleontologist and lead study author, said. In the area of health and hygiene, the Standard Times has an article entitled, "Having Bad Breath Stinks, But There Are Solutions," by Darrell Austin from the USA Today service. No one wants bad breath, but nearly all of us have experienced it. Technically known as halitosis, the oral health condition is an unpleasant odor that often results from food you eat, poor dental hygiene, or an underlying medical condition, says Cassandra Heath, a registered dental hygienist at Mesa View Dental in St. George, Utah. About 30% of the population struggle with bad breath on a consistent basis, and no one is immune to it, says Dr. Christopher Pullins, a family medicine physician at the Mayo Clinic. One reason it's so common, he said, is that many of the things that cause bad breath are part of our daily lives, such as the food we eat. Strong-smelling foods such as onions, fish, garlic, Brussels sprouts, potato chips, horseradish, coffee, citrus, spicy foods, and cheese and other dairy products are especially likely to impact your breath. But no matter what's behind bad breath, it's possible to eliminate it, or at least significantly diminish it. Halitosis is frequently caused by the smelly sulfur compounds that are the result of broken down proteins from bacteria that live in our mouths and especially on our tongue. While these bacteria exist everywhere, some people experience bad breath more frequently than others because causes of halitosis are multifactorial, says Pullins. Someone who lacks dental hygiene, for instance, is likely to have more of these bacteria than someone who brushes and flosses regularly. Ditto people who smoke and those who eat odor-causing foods more than individuals who steer clear. Someone taking medications or receiving treatment for high blood pressure, chemotherapy, diabetes, and conditions that need antihistamines are more commonly experiencing stinky breath. Certain medical conditions can cause bad breath as well, says Dr. Marissa Price, an expert spokesperson at the American Dental Association and a pediatric dentist at Boston Children's Hospital. Such conditions include dry mouth, periodontal disease, gastrointestinal disorders, and respiratory tract conditions such as bronchitis, sinusitis, or postnasal drip. Someone dealing with sleep disorders such as snoring or sleep apnea may also more frequently have bad breath because these conditions dry out the mouth at night, increasing saliva production and thereby preventing the mouth from cleaning itself. He says that people who have acid reflux are more likely to experience mouth odor due to the backward flow of stomach acid and undigested food into the esophagus. Now, the solutions. Pullen says the best place to start to get rid of bad breath is proper dental hygiene. Flossing, teeth brushing, all oral services, and morning and night and after meals. He adds that regularly scheduled dental cleanings are also important in preventing periodontal disease. Heath agrees and says that mouthwash and paying special attention to keeping your tongue clean can kill a lot of bacteria as well. She adds that breath mints and chewing gum can also work in a pinch, but be mindful that these will only help mask bad breath and won't erase the root cause of the odor. Price says it's wise to avoid habits such as smoking and eating too much sugar, as sugar and tobacco products can lead to tooth decay. She advises keeping saliva flowing in your mouth, as it's how the body naturally cleanses many of the odor-causing bacteria. Quote, eat healthy foods that require a lot of chewing, such as apples or celery, because that can get saliva moving. And if you still have concerns about the cause of bad breath, she says, it's best to make an appointment to visit your dentist. That's the latest news from the New Bedford Standard Times for Thursday, September 29th. This is John Stevenson with apologies for my weak paleontological vocabulary. See you again. Bye-bye.